Hey guys, Crazy Postman here. Well, I got another review for you today. Now, the company Wild Badger contacted me and asked me if I wanted to review some of their gasoline-powered lawn equipment. And I told them, I'm not really that type of channel. I mainly do technology or electric cars. And they're like, oh, electric? We have battery-powered tools. So they sent me a 40-volt chainsaw to review on my channel. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna review the Wild Badger Power 40-volt, 14-inch battery-powered chainsaw. I may not be a professional power tool reviewer, but I am a regular person, so I'm gonna give you a regular person perspective of the Wild Badger chainsaw. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. So here it is. We had a little bit of shipping damage, so hopefully everything is still in there. We will find out in just a second together here. So let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. We got what feels like a battery here. Now this is a 4 amp hour battery, so it's pretty good sized battery. And I am correct, that is a 4 amp hour battery. Wow, this looks very familiar. I haven't done any research into Wild Badger Power, but this looks very familiar. A certain company that makes green products uses a battery that is very similar to this. I do have some products for that green colored brand, and this looks very familiar. So we're gonna go ahead and try this at the end of the episode. I got the instruction manual. This is probably the charger here that it is. So there's the charger. And here is the 14-inch Wild Badger chainsaw. We got our chainsaw. We got a little container of oil here. So this seems very familiar to me. We got a safety button here on the side. So you would push this safety button when you pull the trigger. You got a lock here for your bar. Your oil is going to go in right here on the side. And here is your chain tensioner right here. Chain tensioner. And this one just removes the cover. I know we're still in the studio here, but let's give this a quick squeeze. Make sure it all works. That is interesting. It doesn't give you, there's kind of a delay. It doesn't give you like immediate action. It kind of rolls into the power. And you see my hand pulling the trigger and then how long it takes. Interesting. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just first impressions. All right, this seems like a pretty straightforward product. Let's go cut down some trees. Before I start cutting stuff down, let's go ahead and go over some of the details here. So this is a 40-volt brushless chainsaw equipped with Smart Cut technology. Has a direct drive at 5,500 RPMs. That's 54 feet per second. Now, this is a 14-inch guide bar and chain that is common and easy to maintain. Note the guide bar may be Oregon or Wild Badger branded. Now this has an electronic chain brake that prevents accidental kickbacks and provides smooth operation. The front handguard and two-handed operation with locking rear handle offers additional safety features. Badger warrants this product against defects in material and workmanship for a period of 3 years. And here's the kicker. That warranty is good for home use and commercial use. Okay, I said I wasn't going to do this in the house, but you know what? What's the worst thing that could happen? Why are you huffing at me, man? Don't huff when I'm about to do some important work here. All right. Not going to spill. Not going to spill. Not going to spill. It's kind of blue, just like the Wild Badger Power chainsaw. Everything about this kind of gives me a basic tool vibe, but that doesn't matter. If the price is right and the quality is there, and this thing has a 3-year warranty, that says it even covers commercial use. That really surprised me in the warranty. It does seem more like a budget tool, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This cover here on the end, it's made for the 12-inch model and the 14-inch model at the same time. They just have to evidently cut it apart right there, and voila, you have a chain cover. Maybe if you had the 12-inch model, you wouldn't even be able to tell that there was extra that they cut off. But that's a good way to do it. Save on production costs. Put all your extra money into the tool. They used a premium chain and a premium motor, so that's pretty much all the important parts covered. It doesn't matter if the casing is made out of cheap plastic and you got just little stickers put on it. Who cares? If it works, it works. All right, guys, will you join me here in front of a tree that is needing to go? It started dying a few years ago, so we're gonna go ahead and try to cut this tree down. Now, I am not a professional. Make sure that you know what you're doing before you do something like this. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I am a terrible example. I do know you should always look up the tree and make sure there is nothing loose that's going to fall on you while you're cutting. And also, you're probably going to want to look around and plan what direction it's going to fall and make sure there's nothing over there. Now, this isn't that tall of a tree, so it shouldn't affect too much if it goes the wrong way, but just make sure you have an escape plan for when it starts going down. You want to not be anywhere around it when it falls. I am a regular everyday person. I am not a professional tree feller. I don't know what I'm doing. We're just having fun testing out this Wild Badger chainsaw today. Do you think it's going to be able to do it? That's a pretty big tree. How much of it do you think I'm going to be able to cut down before it runs out of juice? So just to give you a better sense of how tall the tree is here, we're going to zoom up. It is pretty good size and it's mostly dead. Now, there doesn't seem to be much up there that's loose that could bonk me on the head. Of course, you should always wear the proper safety gear when you try to do something like this, which I don't have. I do have a pair of Oakleys that I'm going to put on, and hopefully they will deflect anything that comes towards my eyeballs, but they are not safety glasses either. So I'll just zoom this camera out here and keep a wide angle. I am going to put a POV camera on my hat so y'all will be able to see everything I see up close as well. So here we go. Remember all my disclaimers that we talked about. What we're going to do first, we're going to cut a straight through piece about 3/4 of the way. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop and I'm going to cut an angle to meet that piece. Okay, now we're going to start our top slice here. Okay, now we got to get a little bit more over here. I didn't quite go 2/3 of the way through. like I thought I was going to. So there's our wedge here. I am going to start cutting it on the opposite side, and hopefully it goes ahead and does what I want it to do by going that direction. We're just going to go ahead and start cutting it on this side. Hopefully it does what it's supposed to do and falls towards the yard over there. So here we go. There she goes. All right. Hey, I actually did something right, y'all. That went exactly where I wanted it to go. Now, we just got to start cleaning that up. Let's see how much battery we got left. We're down to half battery, so cutting the bottom part of this trunk used up half the battery, or at least it used up 2 of the lights anyway. We'll go ahead and start cleaning this up, and I will let y'all know how far I get before the battery conks out. Let's see here if I actually was able to go through all the way. Just barely. So this was literally, if this tree would have been any bigger, I couldn't have got the blade all the way through. So we are going to start out by just attacking the easy low-hanging fruit. It has quit working. Not sure, maybe it's overheated, so we'll wait a little bit and see if it comes back. It's alright because the operator has overheated as well. I didn't quite realize that this tree was so big when my dad told me he had a tree to cut down. One thing I have discovered about this, it is hard to get the battery out. There is no spring inside. In some of the other electric chainsaws, there's a spring in there that helps you remove the battery. In this one, there's no spring. So you have to have like this sitting on the ground, and you have to use 2 hands because you have to push in on this button and pull out at the same time, but you can't do that with 1 hand. Maybe they do that on purpose to keep people from holding it while they do this. I don't know, but it's not super easy to get the battery in and out. So comparing these 2 batteries, they look pretty identical. So it slides right in. Still doesn't work though. Editor Crazy Postman here. Unfortunately, my camera battery died and I did not notice. We missed quite a bit here. Let me explain what happened. I was a complete idiot. The chainsaw was working the whole time and it was disabled because the brake was on. So let's get back to the action here. Whew. We're gonna take our first load back. Pretty good sized load. Hopefully it doesn't all fall out of the trailer. We'll see. Oh, it's so hot, guys. Thank goodness some shade. Let's get this to the backyard. Made my first little rookie mistake over here, but the neighbor guy came over, he saw me struggle and helped me get the blade out. We are down to 1 battery bar. Let's see. There you go. I don't know if y'all can see that. 1 battery bar. So I am going to keep going, and I'm going to keep cutting this trunk about every that far, maybe 18 inches, until I run out of battery, and we will see how much more I can do. I'm getting the low battery flash. The last bar is flashing now, just so y'all know. This is it. I think she just died. Yep. She just died, guys. Let's try to finish this one last cut. There we go. This battery is done. That was a pretty good showing from the Wild Badger 40 volt 4 amp hour 12-inch chainsaw. But this was a very honorable showing for the Badger 4 amp hour battery. Y'all saw how big this tree was. I almost got it all the way done. I'm very impressed. Now, a funny thing I noticed, the Greenworks battery is easier to take out. Watch this. I can do that easily with one hand. It might be because this battery is so old. It's kind of worn out. Maybe eventually that Badger battery will just slip in and out real easy. This does not come out easily. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. While we're waiting on the battery to charge for the Badger down there so we can see if we can finish this up here today, I wanted to show y'all the best hat ever. The solar panel activates a little fan, so whenever you're out in the sun, it keeps the top of your head cool. Now, how neat is that? Now, the only bad thing is you walk in the shade and the fan stops. So we got the Badger charger plugged in here, and I got the Badger battery here. Now, it is still a little warm. We might get an overtemp warning when I plug it in. I hadn't used it in probably 45 minutes, but it was sitting outside. Now I got it plugged into a watt meter up here. It's basically not charging, not even 1 watt. So maybe it is too hot right now to charge. Usually these chargers will give you a warning saying it's too hot, but maybe that's what solid red means, because it's definitely not charging. We are at 0.04 watts. So we'll let this cool off for a little longer, and then I will show y'all how fast it charges. Okay, so this is charging now, and you can see we are charging at 81 watts. I don't know if that's the highest or in the middle, but I just noticed we were charging. We have, oh, can't see, we have 2 battery bars now, and it's still charging about the same speed, so it must be maxed out at a certain amperage, and the wattage is just going up because the volts are going up. So things I've found out. I think this Wild Badger power chainsaw actually does a pretty good job, and it has a decent amount of power, but if you're going to do any large projects, you need more than one battery. Now, this battery did last pretty good. You saw, I wasn't disappointed with its runtime, but it took forever to recharge, and I just gave up. Not that it charges slow. I showed you it was charging at around 80 watts. It will not charge until it cools off. So once you finish cutting with this, it took probably an hour or more to cool off enough before it started charging. And then who knows how long it'll take to charge. Probably 2 hours is what I'm guessing. But I honestly don't know that yet because I got tired and quit waiting on it. So I'm back up to 2 battery bars. Let's go ahead and cut this log a few more times and we will call it an episode. See, it's cutting now without stopping. So earlier I think it was just a low battery problem, not a heat problem. So it is cutting now, no issues. It's doing a good job. We are down to 1 battery bar again. Remember, we just started at 2 battery bars. I didn't wait for it, so we probably got about 1 or 2 more cuts, but it is doing a very good job cutting. It's just plowing its way right through. I am maxing out pretty much every inch of this 14-inch bar here. Now, this tree was probably a little too large for this chainsaw, but it's just showing you its capabilities, you know. It's doing it. I haven't noticed any problems with the automatic chain oiler. It seems to be doing its job and keeping the chain oiled. I haven't noticed any smoke or overheating. So we are starting the final cut. There you have it. We are done. So basically we used one whole battery and then about an hour's worth of charge on a second battery. Now I didn't get the low battery warning. I still get one solid light here. It's not flashing yet, so I think this is a pretty good deal. Now I don't know if seeing these cuts up close will help y'all determine the cut quality, but there you have it. It was a very good cut quality in my opinion. I'm sad to see this tree go. It's too bad that it died. It was here for pretty much my whole life. You can see the rings here. If anybody wants to count that, I'm pretty sure it's been here since mid to late 70s. So we're going to call that an end to this episode. Thanks for watching my review of the Badger 40 volt 14-inch 4 amp hour battery operated chainsaw. Now I will leave my Amazon affiliate link for the Wild Badger chainsaw in the description. This was not a sponsored video, however they did send me this for free to review, so they didn't ask for anything special or tell me any restrictions, and they are not going to get a chance to see this before I post it. This is my own opinions, and if you would like to purchase this, I would appreciate it if you used my link. I do get a commission from Amazon if you use my affiliate link. So thanks for watching this Wild Badger Power review. I got a little bit of a mess to clean up and I am pooped. I'm gonna go home. I'll see y'all in the next one. If y'all want to know something funny, so after I cut down this tree, my dad told me, he's like, oh, I actually wanted you to cut down this tree, not this tree. That tree is much smaller. It would have been much less work. You are lucky, tree. I could have cut you down today, but instead I cut the wrong one down. The babies are just about ready to leave the nest. They got a lot of their feathers. They're all just kind of looking at me. There's a crop duster. And he's gone.